Derby Wars, racing's biggest contest site, is now even bigger with more than 200 games every day. Check out Survivor, Derby Wars' hottest new game. It's fun, easy to play, and for just $4 you could win $1,000. Just pick a horse to finish first, second, or third and advance to the next race. With daily payouts and games starting every hour, you'll see why fans are racing to play Survivor.
Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I am Brian Zipsey, and as always, I have the great pleasure of being joined by my co-host to the East Coast. That's Matt Schiffman. Matt, where the heck are you today?
I think racing fans can take a look at the background. I am sitting at a picnic table at Saratoga, just outside of the beautiful paddock.
Now, did you choose that location just to make me jealous, or were there other reasons?
I chose this location because I knew you were coming up next week, and because it's just a beautiful backdrop to share with our fans.
It certainly is. No place like Saratoga, Matt Schiffman. Glad you're there for an extended stay. I will be there in less than a week, and I can't wait. But before we talk about the future, Matt, we need to talk about a wonderful weekend of racing that saw two of America's biggest stars. Now, I was just talking about this a little bit ago. There are some really nice racehorses currently in training, Matt, and we got to see two of the best, maybe three of the best, do their thing Saturday, Sunday, opposite coasts. Can we start out at good old Del Mar with the San Diego Handicap?
Let's do that. That one happened first, and I'll tell you, maybe this was two of the best races that we've seen all year.
Can't argue with you there, Matt. The San Diego Handicap lived up to its billing and then some, Matt. Dortmund hadn't been seen on the racetrack, at least in a race, for about 8 months. California Chrome was about 4 months. They picked up where they left off, Matt. It was a heck of a race.
It sure was. And the thing that I like to point out also is that, everybody was talking about, as you said, Brian, that Dortmund hadn't run in about 8 months, but Chrome hadn't run in 4 months. I mean, it was two horses basically coming off a layoff, prepared by two great trainers, and holy moly, did they run a super race all the way around the track. It was everything maybe that we expected and everything that we hoped for.
I can't agree with you more, Matt. In a lot of ways, I thought Dortmund almost had an advantage. He wasn't going back and forth to Dubai, even though he had 8 months off, trained by Bob Baffert. Who do you want to get your horse ready after a layoff more than Bob Baffert? Dortmund, mile and a 16th, I thought that was the perfect distance for him. I expected him to give a good race to California Chrome, and he sure did. Now, Matt, interestingly, right out of the gate, it was Dortmund not breaking on top, the more speedy of the two, not breaking on top. California Chrome broke like a shot, and you saw Victor kind of pull him back and let Dortmund go. It's not always easy to chase a quality speed horse around the track, but California Chrome, that was their choice, and they did it beautifully.
Yeah, I think Victor had his mind set on getting that position that he's had so much success with Chrome, sitting, a few paths away on the outside of his competition.
Yeah, Chrome loves to be on the outside of horses. He loves to be close to the lead and then pounce on the turn. Matt, he pounced on the turn like Chrome, the best of Chrome, I thought, and it briefly looked like he might put Dortmund right away. Dortmund had other ideas, though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It did look like Chrome was going to blow right by, but Dortmund was so game and fought like crazy on the rail.
I think I'm hearing some John Embrial there from Saratoga, Matt. That's not a distraction background noise. That's good background noise in my book. Dortmund fought back on the rail, Matt. We've seen Dortmund fight before. In the Derby, he couldn't do it at 1.25 miles against the likes of American Pharoah and Firing Line. But I think he's still one of the best horses in America. I think that was proved out on Saturday. I think Dortmund showed that he is going to be one of the big names on the handicap division this year moving forward, whether it be the Pacific Classic or maybe even bigger, the Breeders' Cup Classic down the road. For California Chrome, I said it before, USA, he won this year. He won in California early. He went to Dubai. He won 2 big races there. He came back to the USA. Now he won maybe the toughest race of his year. I have nothing but accolades for California Chrome at the moment.
Yeah, and I will admit, and people probably know, I was a little concerned about how Dortmund would come back. Would he be 100%? And he showed me the kind of racehorse that the best that he can be. And I hope that he continues on that path. I hope his delicate feet stay underneath him for the rest of the year, because we've got some great stuff ahead.
We've got some great stuff ahead, Matt. Some mechanics of the race we should talk about. Mile 16th, I'm not sure if that's the best distance for either. Hopefully they both want to excel as they go a little bit longer. We'll see. The next big one, of course, is the Pacific Classic at 1.25 miles. They ran the mile 16th after sensible fractions in 1:40 and change. I thought it was a very good time. The Bayer boys came back with a nice number of 1:11, one of the higher numbers of the year. Underscoring the excellence of this race. California Chrome won by a half a length. I think it was a small half a length, frankly. I thought it was a neck when they ran by. It seemed like Dortmund gave him everything he had, and then just the last 20 yards, California Chrome said, "It's my race." California Chrome was the better horse. In fact, he gave Dortmund 5 pounds.
Yeah, and I agree, Brian. No doubt that was not a half length. That was a neck victory. At best.
It was a good neck, but 5 pounds. He ran a little longer around the track, but I think he got the position that he wanted. Just a heck of a good race. Now we should look forward to the Pacific Classic. Everybody was talking about California Chrome, Dortmund, and then, of course, the addition of the great mare Beholder, the 3-time champion mare Beholder, the defending champion of the Pacific Classic Beholder. Don't forget about Melatonin. And you know what, Matt? It strikes me that these 4 very good horses, Melatonin being maybe the least respected of the 4, all like to be on or near the lead. The Pacific Classic, Matt, the fur could fly between 4 top horses, 1.25 miles at Del Mar, August 20. I can't wait.
Yep, Brian, and we've said it before. Bravo to horses running when they're older. California Chrome, Beholder. Dortmund's a 4-year-old. I hope we get to see him for another year, because he'll be even better then.
California Chrome, Dortmund. Matt, I had a hard time picking Zat Star of the Week this week. Everybody looks for it at the late on Sunday. I picked California Chrome for one reason and one reason only, because of the pressure of Dortmund. I thought it was just the tougher test. Huge respect for what Songbird did. You were there, Matt. Tell me about Songbird's electrifying win in the coaching club, American Oaks.
Yeah, and may I just start off by saying that, having been here during the week and been around on the backstretch and spent time with Songbird, she is what's most strikes me about her is her demeanor. She's so calm, so professional. Nothing seems to ruffle her, traveling across. And Brian, it has been extremely hot and humid out here at Saratoga. Nothing that she's faced before. In the paddock before the race, she was calm, she was dry, she was handling everything. The paddock was mobbed and just so professional. And then what she did on the racetrack, she finally faced the challenge from a top quality horse, probably the second best 3-year-old filly in the division, coming down the stretch, not just on the back stretch, coming down the stretch. She faced a big challenge, and she responded in a way that an undefeated champion should.
Undefeated champion. She's won 9 times now. I said before the race that Karina Mia is the best horse she's ever faced. People really dug into the graveyard of champions stuff with Saratoga, how many champions have been beaten there. I didn't go for that quite as much, but the fact that she was facing the best horse she's ever faced before, 9 furlongs, and on the other side of the country of her home base, all impressive stuff. Now, Karina Mia, very good 3-year-old filly. I agree with you. At least on dirt, I think she's the second best 3-year-old filly in the country. I'm not sure 9 furlongs is her best distance yet. I'm not sure it isn't. That remains to be seen. Her biggest wins have come around one turn. Is this enough of a challenge? I'm not trying to take anything away from Songbird, but now 9 for 9 against her crop, against her gender. When does she need to step out of this? I'm worried that the Alabama is going to be 1-10 with allowance horses behind her. I want to see. I mean, she's been great. She's been fantastic. Yesterday was huge. But on the other hand, I want to see her run against Nyquist. I want to see her run against Beholder. I don't know that it's going to happen this year. Is that too much to ask, Matt?
I don't think it's too much to ask for, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it will happen next year. Rick Porter and Jerry Hollendorfer are still adamant about the fact that she isn't going to run against the boys this year. Let me also just add about Songbird's performance. She went against the grain of the racetrack since the meet began. The inside of the track has not been the place to be, and on the lead has not been the place to be on the dirt course every day this time. So, with a horse of her caliber, obviously that didn't make a difference, but it didn't make the task any easier for her. And she came out of the race and got the highest Beyer speed figure of her career with a 101.
149.56, 101 Beyer. She was 3-10, Matt. I think that tells us something about how much she's respected, even though the presence of Karina Mia was in there. I'm coming across as a detractor from Songbird. And before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies last year, I told you I thought she was the best thing in this division, and I thought she was something special. I've never changed that. I just think that in order for her to be Horse of the Year, for instance, or to be called one of the greatest 3-year-old fillies of all time, it would be nice to see her step out of her division. I do think we will get to see that at least at the end of the year in the Breeders' Cup distaff. I don't know if that will include Beholder, but that is something to look forward to. But for now, I'm not one of those guys who can't appreciate what we're seeing, because how can you do anything but appreciate the way Songbird races time after time? Korea Mia got right up to her, looked her in the eye at the quarter pole, and Songbird had the answer, as you said, Matt. It was fun to see.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a great atmosphere here at Saratoga. And like you said, I don't know right now, Beholder in the Classic, but I don't know, we'll see what happens down the road. I think it would be pretty cool to see Songbird Beholder matchup in the distaff. And I don't know, I think maybe there's a little possibility that could happen.
There's a little possibility. There's a little possibility of anything happening, Matt. There's a possibility that I'll run in the distaff. But at Santa Anita, I don't see Beholder going the distaff route. She's already proved everything she needs to prove. I think they want the Classic. I know what you're saying. If she runs third in the Pacific Classic, maybe they ratchet things down a bit and look for the distaff. I would love to see Songbird, that's right, folks, a great 3-year-old filly, run against Beholder, a great older mare at any time, whether it be the Breeders' Cup or not. I want to see Songbird against Nyquist as well. We'll see when it happens. But for now, California Chrome was marvelous on Saturday. Songbird was sensational on Sunday, and we as racing fans got to enjoy it all. Matt, we're not gonna tone things down for next week, though. 2 days, 2 huge races again. I'm excited for the Jim Dandy on Saturday. I'm excited for the Haskell on Sunday.
Yep, and Brian, I think you and I can do a show together here at Saratoga next week.
Yeah, let's do that, Matt. We'll do it at Saratoga, maybe right on that bench, or maybe I'll sit on the bench behind you there. You'll be in the foreground, and I'll be yelling, not heckling per se, but yelling things from the bench behind you. Haskell, we're talking Nyquist, the return of the Kentucky Derby champion in the Haskell, but he faces Gunrunner. People are raving about American Freedom from the Bob Baffert, Mr. Haskell barn. The Jim Dandy's, even without Exaggerator, it looks like now, it still looks like an excellent race. The Belmont winner, Creator, will return. He has Mulheyman, Destin, Governor Malibu. It'll be fun, Matt. Great 3-year-old colt weekend. We're looking forward to it. So we'll see everybody there. Early picks for either of those races, Matt?
I do have early picks for the Haskell. I'm going to go with Gunrunner. I think he's a horse that's still getting better. I think he's going to love Monmouth Park. In the Jim Dandy, I'm going with Destin.
Destin, I like it. All right, Matt. Just to be a contrarian, I'm gonna bring up a Haskell of old, and that was 49er against Seeking the Gold. It was years ago, 1988, I want to say. What is that, Matt? That's a long time ago. My math escapes me today.
28 years ago.
I lost it with my hair. 28 years ago, and Seeking the Gold was kind of more the up and coming horse. 49er was the more the Nyquist type, although he didn't win the Derby that year because of winning colors. But they ding-donged it down that Monmouth stretch, and the slightly classier horse, boy, it's tough to say against Seeking the Gold, but the slightly classier horse won by a nose. I'm predicting the same type of race this time where Nyquist edges Gunrunner in an instant classic. Matt, I'm going to go against Destin, a horse I've liked all along. I think Mohayman's going to win the Jim Dandy.
Yeah, and you know my feeling about those Tappets getting better. I think we have yet to see the best from Mohayman also. I agree, Brian.
There you go, Matt. Thank you as always, folks, for watching us. We are brought to you by the best contest site out there, Derby Wars. Matt, closing shots from Saratoga?
As always, I want to thank our producer, Ember Marr, and say I hope to see you up here, Ember.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.